Hello, we are Daniel from Brazil, Stella from Germany, and our border collie Bonnie. We moved from the heart of Berlin all the way to the beautiful north of Portugal. We've got this amazing 1.2 hectares of land with an old ruin right by the river. We are going to share our experience of living in a tiny house and the whole process of turning this beautiful place in our home. Starting from scratch, we are diving into manual work, gardening, having some farm animals and any other task you can imagine. Trying to spend more time away from the computer screens. We are all about learning by doing, sharing our successes, fails, and the fun moments with you. Hi everyone.
I'm Stella.
I'm Daniel.
Today is Christmas 2023. To record a video, and in this video I want to tell you how we ended up moving to the north of Portugal.
Yeah, why we decided to leave Germany. So we are living in Berlin before, she's from there. I was there over the past 6-7 years. And after a lot of things happening, thoughts, ideas, COVID, of course, we ended up buying this property. And yeah, I think this video we're going to be talking mostly about how we ended up moving to Portugal, why we left Berlin, Germany, and all the details, or most of the details of it.
How did we end up in Portugal? It started actually in COVID times. Daniel and me and Bonnie, obviously, were living together in an apartment in the city center of Berlin. I really enjoyed it, but Daniel started to get a bit more unhappy. He wanted to move to nature, and I liked the idea because my dream was always to have like a house with a big garden. And I also grew up like in the suburbs of Berlin, next to my mom's apartment is next to a forest. So I grew up in nature, and I like to have nature around me. Yeah, we decided then to look for properties around Berlin, in Brandenburg area, but it was super difficult, and it was also really frustrating because most of the properties were small, or if they were big, they had houses in very, very bad conditions, and they were expensive, way too expensive for us. And then I think July 2021, we did our vacation in Portugal, and our plan was like to start in Porto and then go to the south, but because of COVID, we couldn't go to the south. We would have needed to stay for 10 days in quarantine, and we only had like 14 days of vacation. So we were like, okay, fuck it, we just stay in the north. And Daniel just asked in all the restaurants and all the cab drivers, like, hey, do you have anything you can recommend in the north of Portugal to go? And everybody told us about this beautiful national park, Penida Gerais. We went there and we wanted to stay first like for 3 days, and then we stayed the rest of our vacation because we liked it so much. It was so beautiful. There were so many beautiful rivers and waterfalls and stones, nice trails. Bonnie was happy, we were happy. And when we came back from this vacation, Daniel was asking me like, hey, what do you think about we check for properties in this area? I was like, wow. I don't know, I never moved somewhere else. It was always like staying in Berlin. But I was interested, and I was like, okay, let's look. And I mean, also just checking, right? Like checking cannot hurt. But then there's Daniel, like if he has a goal, he does everything to achieve this goal. So then I started to check for properties, and then we also agreed, okay, maybe it's a too big step to move somewhere too far away from the cities. And because we have some friends in Porto, we decided to first check properties in the area around Porto, but also like try to get some properties more nature because we like Gerais so much. And I think Daniel found like 5 apartments. We wanted to check. It was in February 22. And we went there for like a week and visited all the properties. And within the properties, there was one, the only shoes, because there was like a little stream to see on the pictures they took from the property. But this property was almost not an option because it was too far away outside, almost on the border to Spain. We needed to drive 2 hours from Porto. But we thought like, okay, we will go there because we're here, right? Yeah. This was how we found this property. When we arrived at the property, it was crazy. It was nice.
All right. So we actually parked the car more or less here. So here's the entrance of the property. It was like this 2 hours car drive. We're like not really excited, a bit boring, far from Porto. We're not super convinced about the whole thing. And I think it was the second or the third property we visited. And basically there's nothing here. We drive this whole road here, just goes to the property. There's some other neighbors here, but there's nobody living here, nothing. And we're like, yeah, I'm not sure. But by the time we arrived, we could already hear, we probably cannot hear now, but you can already hear the river. The water that's quite nice, gives a fairly good impression. It was almost like a love at first sight. We were like, oh, it's really nice because it's a corner. So there's no people, it's just super private. It's really nice. And yeah, we started to walk all the way down. So we went that direction. And when we arrived in this part of the property with the river and everything, we're like, well, I was already super hyped. Stella, I think she started to be a bit scared because I was very, very happy and excited about the whole thing. And even though we visited another property before, a couple of properties, it's not like this one. This one's very private, nice, cool river. Yeah, it's just amazing. Then we started to do the whole process of, we had to put some money down. So like we reserved this property for a year or so in a way where we could make it sure that we could build on the ruin. So we do have a ruin there and we can only build on top of that specific area. And it was a requirement for us, of course, to be able to build and live here. And after this a year or a bit more than a year on back and forth with paperwork, architecture and everything, we got the project approved and we finally bought the land.
Yeah, I know that Daniel said that he liked the property, but he was like going over the property and the real estate agent was there. He's like, oh my God, Stella, this is paradise. So he liked it a lot. I liked it a lot as well, but I also need to admit I started to get a bit scared because it meant like, oh, things are getting real, like it's happening. We are really moving to Portugal. And yeah, we visited the property in February and Daniel was already moving in May from Berlin to Portugal. I was taking a bit longer because I also needed to find a new job. The job I was having was an office job. It didn't allow me to work in Portugal, so I was quitting the job. Had my last day on 30th of June. Found a new job, had my first working day, 1st of July. And on 4th of July, I think, something like this, I also moved to Portugal.
We ended up moving to Porto de Varzim, which was not my first option. I wanted to go to the nature land forest, but Stella wanted to go to the beach side. I understand. We ended up, it's a really nice place. We really like the city now. We have a favorite Italian place and everything is quite nice there, just the flat, it's very cold, not properly insulated. But now with the land, we bought the land, everything is all set. Currently struggling with the electricity, water, and soon the internet as well. So the land's completely off-grid, meaning that we don't have anything yet. So this is the ruin of the house. There's going to be built a house and we had to have the plans, everything approved by the camera, find a construction company that's going to be building it, and then make a request to the government to connect the water and electricity. Everything paid by us. So because there's no connection here, so they're just making the infrastructure for us. So kind of need to think on all of the things we had this in mind. So it was kind of planned. The thing we didn't really consider was that it would take that long. So we had a quite sprint at the beginning where we moved to Portugal quite fast. We organized the things, but then now things are a bit slower. And if you're also doing something like this, buying things in Portugal, counting on construction and this kind of thing, in the government, it would take time. It would take way longer than you expect. We had planned to move here like very, very soon with the tiny house, but still there. At least we saw today that the electricity is set up. It's almost there. So we're about to move here, but you need to be patient and hold it on a bit.
So, and to wrap up when we moved. First of all, we couldn't find anything which we liked in Germany, at least nothing which we could afford.
Yeah, we're definitely talking about these properties where they had like an old house for like 600, 700,000 euros, where we would need to put, I don't even know how much it costs to build things there, but probably, I don't know, 600 more thousand. It's not our reality. And
yeah, then definitely the weather in Portugal is nicer than in Germany. I need to admit that.
Yeah, we're now in December, so I'm sure the sun is really nice, good weather, while now in Berlin we're freezing.
And we need to say this property has a river, and we didn't see anything which came close to the property, to this one. And
yeah, it's not.
It's definitely something very special, at least for us. And yeah, we're just looking forward for the future. And if you have something like a similar project, or you're also planning to move to Portugal, just contact us. We would happy to exchange.
Ideally, people that live around would be also nice, so we can hang out.
Yeah,
It's gonna be quite a
friends.
Yeah, but basically, yeah. And we're gonna be sharing this kind of things. So everything we have to handle to go over it here. So to build a house, the tiny house, everything. And that's it.
Ciao, ciao.